I'm going to show you how I turn a screen like this into a screen like this. Hi, I'm David of Urban Pirate Apparel, and I'm going to show you how I make my screens so I can print my t-shirts. What you'll need to make a screen is obviously you'll need a screen. This is a screen for an A3 size print, some emulsion. I use a ready to go all-in-one tub, and a scoop coater can also be helpful. The scoop coater I use comes with two sides. It has a sharp edge and a rounded edge. The rounded edge is for a thicker deposit of emulsion, whereas the sharp edge, you use less emulsion, so it will be quicker to dry and quicker to expose. The more emulsion there is on screen, the longer it will take to expose. You also need to pick the correct mesh size for the design that you're using. If you're using a blocky image, the lower number is usually better because the holes on the mesh are larger. The higher the number, the smaller the hole. So the higher the number you would use for halftone designs, something with a lot of detail. So as I say, this is my emulsion. I use a pre-mixed emulsion, so it's all in one tub. You can get emulsions that require mixing, such as diazo. So you get a small powder which makes the emulsion photosensitive when mixed together. When pouring, I use more than is required. I don't want to run out as you're coating the screen. The more you use, the safer it will be to coat the entire screen. Anything that you don't use can go back in the tub as long as it's kept away from light. So when coating the screen, you coat the outside or the bottom of the screen first. You place your scoop coater at the bottom of the screen with enough pressure, and in one smooth motion, you coat the screen from this side. Then what I do is flip the screen upside down and do the same process on the inside of the screen. The reason for this is it pushes all the emulsion to the bottom or the outside of the screen so that when it dries, the emulsion does not impede in the motion of the squeegee when printing designs. Once I've finished coating my screen, I place it into my box dryer with the outside facing down. This pulls all the emulsion to the outside of the screen, again to stop it from impeding in the squeegee when printing. I then set up my DIY exposure unit. I put this together myself with a bit of foam and some wood and UV LED lights. I have two strips of lights that have been evenly placed about an inch apart, obviously in rows, to help create an even exposure on the design. So after about half an hour, I'll take my screen out of the drying box. I then place the design on the printed film face down onto the back or the outside of the screen. This way, when you look at the design from the inside of the screen, it looks correct for printing. You can tape the design to the screen using clear tape, but I use static to hold my design in position. I then place foam on the inside of the screen and place the wood on top, which will then use a weight to hold the screen together. My current exposure time is around 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes. Once the screen has been exposed for long enough, I remove everything from the exposure unit and peel off the design from the back. This one was a little bit sticky. I then take my exposed screen to my washout booth, where I will soak both sides of the screen. Once I've sprayed both sides, I'll let it soak for a couple of minutes to make sure it softens up the emulsion that's not been exposed. When washing the design out, you want to wash from the back to the front. This way the lines will stay crisp and you won't get any blowouts from the emulsion. I make sure that the design is completely washed out, but I'll go over it a couple of times anyway just to make sure and give it a quick rinse. Once the design has been washed out, I check to make sure I've washed all of the emulsion out and there are no pinholes. So it goes back into the box dryer for it to dry out. I usually wait about 15 minutes for it to be dry from water so that it can post-expose.
A few moments later.
Once the screen's been dried for around 15 minutes to half an hour, I'll take it back out of the drying box and put it back onto the exposure unit. Post-exposure is optional, but it helps strengthen the emulsion to last multiple prints. You don't need to post-expose for very long, just about the same length of time that you did to expose in the first place. And that's the screen dried and ready to be used. And there we have it. That's how I make my screens to print my t-shirts. If you found this video interesting, give it a quick like and maybe subscribe to the channel. I hope to show you some more behind the scenes footage of my clothing brand. Let me know if you'd like to see anything specific and I'll see if I can make a video for it. See you later.